Should we get the questions for Mara and Maya? Coach, when you're ready.
Well, all the credit goes to UCLA. They're a great team on both ends of the court. I thought they played that way. I thought our young ladies, though, played with a great deal of intensity. I thought our effort was outstanding, but our execution wasn't as good as it needed to be. And we got more shots, and so from effort play standpoint, I thought a lot of good things happened there, but weren't efficient enough on either end of the court to really put ourselves in a spot in that game often enough. Kind of got away from us a little bit early, and so we were kind of clawing our way back the whole time. But again, I thought our young ladies competed and worked really hard, and now we've got to learn from it because there certainly are plenty of opportunities that we can go back and look at film and continue to grow and get better, and that's what this is all about.
Thanks, Coach. Mara and Maya will now take questions.
Mara, for you, what's been the struggle offensively trying to get back in your rhythm to the player that you were a couple of years ago?
I think, honestly, for me this year and how deep our team is and how well balanced, I think for me every night it's going in with the intent of wanting to win, doing anything it takes to win. Last game I had 10 boards, didn't necessarily, G was going off offensively, so we're hitting the hot hand, and I think you see that each night we're hitting the hot hand, whoever it is. I think that'll come. It takes a little time, so I'm giving myself grace for that, but just not letting it affect my effort defensively and being a communicator for this team.
For other players, this conference is so deep, probably the best in the country right now. What do you learn from games like this and some of these other top games you've played where maybe it's just a hair short?
I think you can just learn, each team is super tough. The thing about this conference is everybody's really good. So, you could play the best team in the conference one night or the worst team in the conference, and you're still going to have a game. So just understanding that you have to come in with the same mindset every game, nobody's really a pushover. And then at the end of the season, when you're in, postseason play, you already have that toughness, that consistency you need to come in with, so you're ready to go for the rest of the season.
Mara, UCLA seemed to just get your guys' offense kind of stuck in the mud at times. Just what were they doing so well that kind of caused you guys to maybe stall out on some of those opportunities?
They've got a lot of size, 1 through 5. They've got big guards, obviously 6'7" presence in the post. So it's tough. I think it was hard for us when our offense was stagnant. We're not moving, screening, using our screens. They were really physical. So I think we could have got, into transition a little more, but they also were scoring at a really high clip. So we just got to get stops and be able to score a little more efficiently in transition. When they've got that size in the half court, it's tough. I mean, they're a really good defensive team.
Maya, you've been through some highs and lows here at the University of Minnesota. How close do you think you guys are to getting over that hump and being one of those top teams in the country?
Yeah, I think we definitely can be. I remember after one of the games, Donnie P was like, this was our breakthrough moment, so just continuing to build off of that in every game. And it's you also don't want to be playing your best basketball right now. We want to do that towards the end of the season, come March. So just continuing to get better every game, learning from every game, whether that's a win or a loss, and preparing us for the end.
How did you guys as a team feel about the way you defended the post with Laura Betts under there?
I mean, we could have done better. I think we missed some of our coverages, especially in ball screens. I mean, we got Kiki Rice. She was 8 for 9 from the field, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. So she was comfortable all game, and I think she was able to pick us apart that way. And when you have a player that big inside, it's tough if we can't stop the ball handle as well. So we obviously have to fix that. Come to our road trip coming up, we have 2 really good teams on the road, so we'll clean those things up and make sure we're set in our coverages.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll get into questions for Coach.
Coach, when you're going up against a team with so much talent like UCLA, what's the mindset heading into it? And when things start to slip away, what's something you tell your team amid that?
Well, I really believe that we had moments where we competed at a high level. Unfortunately, when something doesn't go your way, right? And I don't know how many shots we had rim in and out. I think we set a record for that today. And when that, especially when those shots are at the rim, and then you're either trying to get an offensive rebound or whatever happens, you miss that shot, you don't get the offensive rebound, that's when they seem to get going in transition. And now all of a sudden we miss a shot that is a good shot potentially, and then we don't get the rebound, and then they score quickly in transition. And so it happened a couple possessions in a row. One was an arc shot that they made, but those times, you have to decrease the amount of times that happens, if that makes sense. I thought we did a decent job of turning them over. Unfortunately, we weren't able to score out of those, but not all of them were live ball turnovers either. So I think what you learn from it is you're playing against one of the best teams in the country, a national championship contender. That's how good they are. So you can't have many of those moments. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to have some of those in the game, but you can't have as many of those as we had, unfortunately. And unfortunately for us, we had a lot of them in a short span. And then all of a sudden the game separates pretty quickly, and now you're clawing back the whole time, and and then all of a sudden we close it again, and then all of a sudden it happens 2 or 3 times in a row, and then it separates again, and now you got to dig your way back into it. And so I think those are some of the things that level of, and I call that toughness, not just in physical toughness or just mental toughness, but toughness in terms of, again, this is the coverage we're in. We have to be really good in that coverage. We have to do that at that point in time. I thought Kiki Rice was absolutely outstanding. I do. She picked us apart in everything that we were doing, and made us pay in every single way. And so I thought she and not single-handedly, because there's so much of the game. They're such a physical team, and that wears on you. And all of a sudden, maybe you can't get to a coverage as quickly because you got worn down, because you just got beat, and not body blows. It's physical. It's every cut. It's every screen. It's every drive. It's every rebound. It's every post-up opportunity. And that just kind of wears on you a little bit. And all of a sudden you're late on that box out. You're late on that ball screen coverage. You try to make her use it, and she refuses it. And I thought Kiki Rice made us pay in a lot of those ways.
Coach Torrey, obviously, we know how much she means on the defensive end, but in games like this, whether it was like Maryland, Michigan, it seems like she's one of the players on your roster that'll just get the ball and go to the rim and get fouled. Like, how much did you miss her on the offensive side this?
Yeah, we miss her a great deal. We miss her on both ends of the ball. I thought there were some of those opportunities in transition. They talk about being kind of a defensive leader for us. Slowing the ball down is something that she usually does a pretty good job of, although I thought they advanced it pretty well, so it wasn't like the ball handler went by us. It was the next pass that kind of hurt us at that point in time. But I think she's also someone who can score at all 3 levels, and someone who can just make it as another ball handler for you. And again, you're picking the ball up, you're pressuring the ball, you're Briley Glenn, let's say, you're picking the ball up, you're pressuring the ball, you're entering the ball, you're screening, there's a bump. We didn't necessarily have the same depth either, and that wears you down at the same time. So it hurts us in a lot of different ways to not have her out there.
I mean, kind of on that same depth side, it seemed like Tonga and Hart kind of held Betts in check for the first 3 quarters. Then the 4th quarter, she started getting going a little bit. Did you see something that changed on the UCLA side to get her going, or was it just kind of that wear down over a game?
Well, I thought she played more in the second half. She was in foul trouble in the first half, so I think that made a big difference in the game. She got offense, and because she was in there, she got offensive rebounds. She got some ball screen. They threw it up to her at one point in time that I thought, wow, I'm not sure what team in the country is taking that away. Because even if you're in the right coverage, how are you going to steal that thing at that point in time? So, but she's really, really talented. She's a difference maker, and so I think having her on the court was something that was a big factor for him in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
What's your main message to your team after this one?
Well, I think there are plenty of things that we'll learn from this. I really do. I think UCLA is certainly one of the best teams in the country, and we'll go back and we'll identify a couple things that could have helped us significantly. We're not going to look at every single thing. We'll take 3 things, at the most, and then we'll try to apply them to the next game and move forward and get better because of it. But the reality is we've got a really big trip ahead of us. You know, we are in the old Pac-12 at this point in time. So, you know, just interesting how the schedule all worked together. Playing USC, UCLA back to back at home, which I think we're the only team in the Big Ten that's had that in the first 2 seasons that they've been in the conference, and then turn around and go to, go out west as well to Washington. I think in Oregon is the order that we have them in. So that's a really tough stretch, but it's time for us to continue to learn. It's time for us to continue to get better so that we can be playing our best basketball as the season progresses.
Coach, from the outside view, it just seems like you guys are so close to piecing everything together and being one of those top teams. From your point of view, how close are you guys to that?
Well, we're certainly getting better at it, and having Amaya and Mara step up and carry more of the scoring load is something that was important for us to see, and to do it efficiently is something that's really, really important, you know. And so now you're right, you had to put all those pieces together. And are we capable of doing that? Well, we have to be in order to be one of those teams. And so that's something that is another step that we have to take.
Great. If there are no more questions for Coach?